We're ready, we are recording in progress.
Ready, okay. Let's start the meeting for October for the IDA piece of it. First and foremost is the draft minutes for September of 2026 of 2025.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, a few things that I noticed. One is just a spelling error on the second page where Glenn talks about the what you talking about, the grant application, remails versus remains at the bottom, that would have to be adjusted. And that's, I guess, all I found on that.
So with that change,
So amended. All in favor?
aye.
Thank you. Okay, let's move on to the financials, treasury report, home report, all the financial information, Glenn.
All right, so starting with the treasurer's report. On the IDA side, I have nothing to add beyond what's presented. On the,
When on the community bank CD,
yes,
is your intention to renew that?
yes, we're gonna keep them rolling.
Okay. Look around, there's probably.
Better rates now?
Better rate.
Yeah,
Okay,
I would think Wayne Bank is better.
I'm not involved.
I don't set rates anymore.
Well, I know, because in another organization, we just did it.
Yeah, they should be over.
But
I was gonna say you can get 4%.
you also have to check Delaware.
Delphi's below.
Is it right now?
Yep.
Usually they were higher for a while.
No,
We can't invest in credit union, right?
I don't think there's anything that prohibits us. I mean, investing, yes, but a CD is fine.
Just an instrument.
Then I've checked them all.
They're over 4%.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of options there.
Sorry to interrupt.
And
It's been 3
community bank
months.
might be up now too. I don't know.
They don't need the money, actually.
All right, and on the LDC side, yeah, again, nothing beyond what's there, just an FYI under IRP 3. We've got our annual repayment to USDA that'll be due in December. Off the top of my head, I forget whether this one is 31 or 32,000. So with, over the next several months, we'll have sufficient to make it, but really, there's no funds available under IRP 3. But we will make our payment on time. That won't be an issue. And then we had, was the last meeting, I believe it was, that we had discussed perhaps pursuing more agri-lending program funding. I put that request in. I haven't heard anything back. I just put that in again yesterday when I was going over this stuff. So we'll see. I mean, last conversation, which was probably in June or July, they were hot to trot on getting us more money. So I'll just keep on that. I'll call them this time instead of emailing. All right, and then on to the loan report. On the IDA, other than our closeout list, everything is fine there. In terms of our closeout, Lindsay and I thought we had somebody to come on and do our collections work. He declined yesterday.
That's too bad.
Yeah, so basically the response is too much work for too little return, which is what most people have been saying. I've been hesitant to utilize, just go, to a big firm and just go, cause they're gonna go hammer down. In some cases, that's not the approach that we would typically use, but when we get to the LDC, but I think there are some. So it might not be neat, it might not be, oh, this is, Carly's this attorney and this is our collections attorney, it might be, for our just outright deadbeats. Yep, we go full corporate and full board, let them do their thing. And for others, we might need, I'd like to find someone a little bit more local who could use, as much of a carrot as they are gonna use a stick.
Are you out of local options or?
There's one more, he was my last one, just cause, being honest, I think he's a little soft, but maybe for some of them, that's what we need.
Did you check with the one in Malone that's there, not video?
No, not yet, I haven't reached out to him yet.
He hasn't been there in a while, I don't know where he's from.
Yeah, I don't know anything about him, but,
That should mean he's hungry and ready to work.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, that's what.
Yeah, so we were, we've had a guy who's, this last one, within county, and we've been dancing with him for a little bit, and so it didn't work out. But anyway, so that,
So we have 3 remaining on the IDA closeouts.
yes,
Looks like one of those is for an attorney. Are the other 2 in probably,
so I think I would give all 3 of those to the attorney, just because, I think 11 and 12 are just gonna be settlement amounts. All right, we're gonna come after you, tell us what you can pay, and if it's reasonable, we'll accept it.
Yeah.
The other one is just full on out,
Go
do your thing, go full foreclosure. Over on to the,
I like your new format.
what's that?
I've gone 3 months and I get a new format. That's very nice.
Yes, I also have, this is still a work in progress, but we had talked about doing a delinquent loan report. Tab got this done earlier this week. I haven't had a chance to review it. I know there is one error on it currently, so don't go strictly by COIL on this. Chris and Florida, I'll email this to you guys. So we've got the delinquencies, what they are, what our collateral position is. That's where there's a mistake on this. On the top one, we actually have a first mortgage, not a UCC lien. And then the next page is just our return payments via our automatic withdrawal thing. So you can see, it's typically the same names repeated multiple times.
Glenn, as long as we're on this list, first page, second one up from the bottom,
Yeah, we have to add numbers to this. Yep, sorry.
that's okay.
Second one up from the bottom. Yes,
And that is a really new loan.
yes. They are selling the building. So Tab has been shepherding this one. The building is listed for sale. They have a sales contract out. I don't believe that it's signed yet, but the purchase price is in the 3s.
Okay,
And we're the first mortgage.
so if we look back at the decision we made, why we made it, and what went wrong for them to put this building up for sale and exit this business within 6 months of the loan. What's the postmortem on this? We're doing forensic review of our decision making.
Don't believe everything you hear.
Okay,
So I think in regards to this, they were anticipating a big building renovation project and moving forward with it. And I think ultimately they got scared by the numbers involved to actually accomplish what they had planned to accomplish and backed away.
so not really enough due diligence up front.
Yeah, if anything, yeah.
So how do we help these people? Because while we provide some money, the other half of what we do is provide counsel.
So I think part of that is something that Lindsay's been talking about and we try to do in fits and starts is to try to not be so reactionary. You know, for 25 years I've been here, our hallmark has been, we turn things around as fast as possible. And for 80% of our loans, that's fine. And, you know, but we can't always follow that model. And staff needs to do, and staff means me, needs to do a better job of differentiating when it's okay to push and when, no, we do have to go a little bit slower.
In your worksheet that you've got in here is another step in that direction of making people think about what
Yes.
they're looking for and what they're going to do before they even get to borrowing the money.
Right. Yep. All right, so,
Let me just ask this, in this case, Glenn, would it, based on what you know about it, would it have changed our decision? I'm just asking.
I mean, at the end of the day, you know, we can ask them, are you sure about these numbers?
Right.
Yeah,
And if they come, yeah, no, we're sure, we do this, you know, yeah.
because you just don't have the resources to go out and audit
No.
every entry that they.
No, I mean, it's not like we've got our own, let's, for lack of better words, say building inspector that we can, you know, like if you buy a home, yeah, we can send out and be like, okay, they say it's gonna cost $250 to do this, what do you think?
Right.
I mean, I don't know, that's maybe on a certain size project. I mean, because I don't know what they are today, but I know when I had my home inspection done, when I bought my house, however many years ago, I think I paid $250.
Yeah.
You know, if we're making a $250,000 loan, maybe a $500 hour inspection is worth it, and maybe that's
And
something
maybe it's
we
a
would wanna consider.
contractor that we've lent some money to, that we can say, hey, come with us and tell us, can these people accomplish this for what they're telling us?
Right.
Can we make that part of the application process that we can then take out of the loan, like make that a requirement for the application?
Well, I think we would, if we incur costs like
Well,
that.
Like Glenn said, if it's over $100,000, maybe we do that, but if it's $15,000, no.
Right, well, just asking, I guess, asking for a way to ask for proof that they've done that due diligence, because sometimes, you know, Peter says, oh, we're gonna build this bake shop, and then Peter comes back and has built a chicken coop with that money.
Mhm.
Doesn't really look like a bake shop to me.
But that's a hard one all the way around to do it, because you bring a contractor in and you say, he's figuring the cost of labor, blah, blah, blah. And the people doing it are saying, well, we're doing half the labor ourselves. It's gonna.
Well, that's fine, I think they would be, you know, if we get. I mean, it all comes down to the right person, but if you get somebody and, they just give well, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Not actual costs, but you know, if you're working with an engineer, they first give you
Opinion of probable cost.
but yeah, like a probable cost estimate, you know, if we're seeking that, and, you know, the probable cost estimate comes in at $350 and they're saying, well, we're doing the work, so we can do it for $275. All right, that's reasonable, but it is maybe another layer that we would wanna consider.
Since I've been on this board, I think this is the first loan that's gone up in 6 months.
Well, there's a couple more.
There's a couple
There have
more.
been a few.
But not as big, maybe.
Yeah, not as big,
Not as big.
yeah,
Right.
the startup ones, I think he got a discount because that can happen.
Right,
but-
so, I mean, how heavy do we get into this if it's 1 out of 100 or 1 out of?
It's the due diligence that the
There's a large
lender, the
renovation.
loan officers need to be thinking about. Does this seem reasonable? Do these people know what they're going to do? Banks don't let self-builds occur very often at all. You better be a contractor and have some proof that you can do this before they'll let you do it, and then it's really rare.
Yeah.
The rest of the time, self-builds don't happen.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but I definitely think it's worth Lindsay and I sitting down and talking about and seeing what we can come up with.
Not that you wanna be a jerk to the customer, but hey, we wanna test. Have you thought about this? Because this will bite you.
Mhm.
I was looking at plywood prices the other day and it shocked me. Holy smokes, when did a sheet become $50?
They were 100.
Yeah.
It's not like you can make a mistake out of it anymore.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You used to buy it.
Good old days was like, ah,
Oh,
yeah,
And that price was
now it's a wow.
Yeah.
It was higher than that.
Some of it has come back down, but, you know, pressure treated plywood is just,
Yeah, it's like $100 a sheet, isn't it, for even 5/8?
I'll
Well,
leave it to the
depends on
contractor.
the grade, but yeah, 75.
All right.
Okay,
Okay. I
Okay.
digressed.
Yeah, no.
I don't know,
Oh,
that's good,
all right.
totally fine.
So, I had mentioned that we, if we go, a hardcore route for some collections, there's this company that I would probably use, I'm not gonna use their name, but their initials are CG. And so number 10 is one of those, in addition to the first one on the IDA, number 10 is one of those that I would send right over to them. 20,
Wait a minute, the story on that was that they had that for sale.
yes.
Still the same story?
Yes, still the same story, it's still listed for sale. There was something that came up about a, work that needed to be done on the building to make it safe for occupancy.
Uh-huh.
So I think that's a complicating factor. But they're not communicating at all with us. So what we're getting is information we're getting from the area, not from them.
Hmm. And
So that's why I have no,
we have a first mortgage, if I recall.
yeah,
so let's poke the bear.
yeah, exactly, so it's just, yeah,
See what they, how they respond.
No, they're not.
Get some response.
That's where we get the strong arm.
mhm.
Right.
Whatever.
That's when you levy some bank accounts and you put a judgment against the place and you start the foreclosure process and on you go.
You know, we don't wanna do that, but hey, if you're not communicating with us, then.
Right,
we don't wanna-
At least lie to me.
Yeah.
I appreciate your experience.
Okay, let's move on.
Okay, so, that was number 10. Number 20, we're working with them. Last month, or maybe the month prior, they were at 2 behind, they had an equipment issue, they're getting caught up. So no concern on my part from there,
Really? You should be.
on 20? Really?
Remember that application?
Well, other than, yes,
That's the risk we took up front though, so now we have to play it out here.
Right, now we're living with it.
Yeah,
yes.
there's a couple of them like that.
But these are partners with collections.
And, let's see, so then, number 27, we had a good patch with this guy, we were holding steady at 4, and then just this month came back. He is working with Lindsay, I believe we have a meeting set up for next week, or we were targeting to set up a meeting for next.
Is he making the payments now, or is it?
Yeah, he's making
That's
it.
where he is.
Yeah.
Okay, directly from him. Okay.
Yeah, but again, our collateral is the guarantee, the personal
So
guarantee.
at one point, I thought he was making the payments.
Nope, nope, it is him. Yeah, we haven't had to revert to that yet. That's a different one. Number 28, the co-guarantor, co-signing co-guarantor of the note, is now managing the finances. There's some issues with the primary health-wise, so now she's stepped in, and so we think we're on a good track there. The 2 that were behind occurred over the summer, and we did get August's payment, so we think we're back on track. And number 35, this is the one where the one we have the issue with is where the primary is, hit or miss on his payments. The secondary is making his half of the payments.
But the
And
secondary will make the primary's payment
yes,
begrudgingly.
yes, and he knows that.
Have we told the secondary we're 3 months past due?
We're informing him now with this last one.
Yep.
Yes.
Good.
Let's see, 42, they've been 1 to 2 behind all year. I mean, their business is holding steady at that. They have do you have news?
Yes, that building has been for sale and is now under contract.
42?
Wait, hidden in, sorry, no,
No.
thinking of a different one.
Yeah,
My bad.
yeah.
That was just there, I didn't see it.
I don't have my glasses on, so they're the same amount of letters, I will say that.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody.
No, I mean, the reports are that the food is fine, everything's good, they
Yeah.
just don't have enough people coming. Like every other restaurant.
And the margins are shrinking.
Yes.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
a
that's what I was
strong.
thinking.
Yes, with difficult labor issues.
Yep, 47 is a direct to corporate approach with them. 55 is, he's due, but not horribly concerning in the grand scheme of things. He's making, he's got 3 with us, he missed 1, so. Monitoring but not concerning yet. 59 is direct.
Yeah, I wanna ruin his life.
Yeah, I know. 77, this was a dog when it was transferred to us. We've managed it well for 2 years. There's a new sheriff in town that's siphoning off business and, we're follow through as we can. It was my understanding, Bruce, that it may not be listed, but they're talking about selling.
Oh, no, they're the for sale sign.
That's what, okay, yeah.
But they're asking.
Everybody asks way too much.
Yes, we'll talk about.
But all it takes is someone.
What is our
to come
position
up.
on this one? I don't recall.
First.
Okay.
For the building and equipment.
Glenn,
Yes, on the building.
when we bought that, we didn't pay par though, did we?
No, it was donated to the LDC. This account was donated to the LDC
All right,
because the prior person just lost patience and,
right,
yeah.
right. So really, it's 100% profit so far.
Yeah.
And we'll continue.
We'll get as much as we can, yeah. And at some point, we'll have to
Push it harder.
push it harder or cut a deal or work with whoever comes in to purchase it and, yeah.
Okay.
Well, we're in the first position, so we're in a good place.
Number 79,
Why is that still?
cause
What is his problem?
just happens. If they get 2 behind, then they come in and make a lump sum payment. And then he gets 2 behind and he comes in and pays 4, and then
So can we set him up on automatic payment?
we can, they've resisted that, but I think,
No, now is the
we've-
time.
yeah,
We've been
we-
past due too many times.
yeah, just to make sure, yeah, so we can reach out to him. Um, 86 and 87, we briefly discussed that for 86, the building's for sale, 87, is part of that. That was their first business that went into the building on a rental basis. Then they purchased the building. they had some account issues, that's cleared up. Supposedly, they're a mid-month payer, so we don't know if they bounced yet for October. And that's where we are,
On
the good, the bad, and the ugly.
on 67, Glenn, we had a conversation last month.
67.
Did any feedback from what we agreed to do on that one last month?
No, yes, they are trying to figure out how to move forward in the absence of our full support.
Let me see if I can go a little deeper with that. Okay, I understand.
They've got to find cuts.
Yeah.
And they understand the position, they understand that we're just not gonna be a rolling line of credit.
Okay.
And, we would back the grant portion of it, but that's it. And he's like, well, what do I do? And our response was, figure it out.
So,
His decision a year and a half ago was really the right one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it comes from the kids saying, Dad, we're not gonna support this venture anymore. Your hobby is your hobby and it shouldn't cost us and our business. All right, on your delinquency list,
Yes.
any that you're concerned about?
So, the first one, obviously due to non-communication. The third one, just because he's so flaky.
Mhm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The sixth one down, just because of lack of communication. Lindsay has been low-key stalking, to try to get a better assessment of where things stand.
Uh-huh.
So, because there is no communication. And the last two, just because we've had changing stories. Oh, it's an account issue. Oh, it's for sale. Oh, just, are we getting the right story?
Mhm.
If we are, I'm not concerned. If we're,
It sounds like they're dead, they're just not laying down yet.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, I
That's
think they came in, they wanted to make an investment and do something
Right.
good. It didn't work out. Now they're trying to lose as little money as possible. I get it.
Right.
It's okay.
Right, so send us the sale contract, send us all these things that you would normally send to your banker.
Right.
We are their bankers. We're only a couple months from year end. What are you thinking about charging off at the end of the year?
At least half of the one on the IDA, the guy whose life you want to ruin. Or on the LDC.
Yeah, okay,
Half of that, we've already gotten allowance for, sorry, I said IDA, I meant the one on the LDC that you're targeting, which we're all targeting.
right.
I'm just being facetious, and we're in public, so I shouldn't say that.
He's taking advantage of
Yes.
us for 5 years.
Yes, and the one on the IDA, that's the top of the list on the IDA loan report. Though, we already have an allowance for that one.
Uh-huh.
And we already have an allowance for the one we just discussed on the LDC.
Mhm.
For half, we may need to up that up and just take our loss.
That's number 59 for anybody that's looking at it.
Yeah. But those are the ones that I'm concerned about. Everything else,
Well, if it's got a story and it can play out, let's let it play out.
Right.
I think these two are pretty dead.
yeah,
And particularly the line 10 under the IDA. We've been told we've got a first mortgage, we've been told we don't have a first mortgage. It's gone on now for, does this report tell us how long? 2021.
yes. 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one else would give them that much leeway.
Yeah. So yeah, they're on that, the concern, the other one of concern, just because our collateral is so poor, is 47.
On the LDC.
Yes.
Yeah,
Unless anybody has an urgent desire to have an Amish shed.
that was another one that we,
Where was that one? Was that out of Sydney?
Yeah.
Yes.
so-
Trumper,
Masonville.
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 Yeah.
That's one that, yeah. It's one of those that maybe we should have done, but she, remember she visited, we were here. she-
Yes, yes, we heard the whole story.
Yeah,
There was sad music playing.
Yes. Lindsay takes this
Wow.
one apart. She is
Wow.
very upset about this,
yes,
because this was
yeah, that's-
one of her first.
yeah, it comes up every time I talk to her. You know, just, if you think you're the first one that's loaning money to questionable, you're wrong. Talk to Scott. You know.
Oh, actually, while we're on this, I'm sorry, there was one other thing. This relates to the IDA.
Make it personal, you said you promised me never make these payments, sometimes that helps. This is personal.
Oh, no, all right.
You
Sorry, it's under the
She's trying
LDC.
But this is
Uh,
beyond the.
Number 40 under the LDC. This was originally made with Millennium Fund money. And at the time of approval, by board resolution, not necessarily my idea, we decided that if this business made every payment for 5 years, which they have done, and maintained 4 FTE employees over that time period, we would forgive 25% of the principal balance, the original principal balance of the loan at the end of year 5. That's this month. So I bring it forward to you that they have made all 60 payments on time. And they have achieved 82% of their employment goals, and that's at a steady rate. They have 2 full-time and 5 part-time people.
Is this who I'm thinking of this? I just talked to him,
Yeah. Yes,
on Wednesday.
so, we can't say why, but it's a community-based business and very important for the community. They've done a great job with that. Prior to them purchasing this was shut down and not operating, which was why the board wanted to provide this as an incentive.
The board at the time.
The board at the time wanted to provide this as an incentive, and also it was in part due to the original funding source of this, which was the Millennium Fund. Where we have done previous note forgiveness for different businesses for various reasons, whether it be job creation or community impact or things of that
And we're
nature.
doing 25%
Of the
current.
original, the
Oh,
original.
Original balance.
Yeah,
I heard something about this. So from an accounting standpoint, how
yeah,
does
it's like
that,
13,000.
yeah, so
Yeah.
from an accounting standpoint, that's not a write-off of a bad debt per se. How do we account for it?
So where we would do is, yeah, we write it off as an expense.
A grant expense.
Yes, we could write it off as a grant expense.
And the dollars would come
Home
from.
forgiveness.
Yeah, so the original source was the Millennium Fund.
Yeah, understood.
Yeah, so we just lose that out of
It
there.
doesn't have to come out of.
It doesn't come out of our
checking
pocket.
account.
Yeah,
It just comes off of.
it comes off of our sheet.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not.
It's
paying you
a
any
non-cash
No.
event to us.
And it's a non-taxable event.
No, they'll get a 1098 for it, because it's forgiveness. Yep,
Are you sure? Because
we've been told by our auditors, if we do that, we have to do it.
Even when it was a grant and that was the
Yes.
language in there.
Because that's the thing, if you're forgiving debt, it's the same as a grant. They get a 1098. When we did, remember when we did this conversion years ago
Uh-huh.
with our, HUD-based loans,
Yeah.
and we had to
That did
forgive a
create
bunch of them,
1099.
they all got 1098s.
That wasn't language in the original agreement.
No,
You ought to ask Mary about that. Send her that actual note in the way it was written up originally and say, is this a 1098 trigger?
okay. That's if the board wants to approve it.
Well,
No,
I don't think we have an
Actually,
option.
we don't get to approve it, it was already approved.
Somebody, some board, predecessor board decided.
Well, you could say that they
Person I
did
got
meet
roped into
100%.
Yeah.
of the qualifications.
They hog-tied us, and we say, yeah,
Paying 82%.
I don't wanna keep bringing that up.
since we're the only two left.
Sometimes history is important.
Sometimes.
Actually, it was a meeting we both met.
We must have, right. That's on some river trip somewhere.
There you go.
After he just told us he hadn't missed any meetings in 35 years, and he just come up with a miss.
5 years ago, that must have been pre-Zoom dinosaur,
Oh, yeah.
dinosaur age.
And, well, that was the part of COVID.
So with that, I know everybody doesn't want to have their name on it on paper. But as I mentioned, they made 82% of their employment goal, not 100%. So it is a board decision about whether we are going to say good enough, or whether we're gonna hold them to the strict writing of the,
Yeah, but the original agreement said 4 people, right?
for FTE, for full-time equivalents.
They got that.
They're 3.28 equivalent based on hours worked per week. So that's why we are fully within our power to say, yep, hey, you got an 82 out of 100, that's a B, yep, we're good. Or no, we're gonna hold you to the strict.
I think we're good.
I agree.
And that's why
Look at-
we would need a
look at the drama
resolution.
that was-
Oh, no, I agree. I think it's the right move. I think, you know, what that was prior to what it is now, it's now become one of the leading ones in the county. I think,
Right. And they too are struggling with labor costs and advertising and
Right,
the service that they provide the community. A weekly newspaper far outweighs the extra $1,500 that we don't forgive and make them repay.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
okay, could we have a resolution for that?
We have a lot of motions to make. as we-
Oh, okay,
we
okay,
haven't
okay.
done yet,
All right,
so
sorry, all right, we'll do that after, right? All right. Okay, so that's the last thing I have on financials.
Okay, we are in a position to make a motion on the treasurer's report.
So,
Second,
Second.
all in favor? Aye. Do a motion on the loan report as well. We've been doing that as of late. Approval of the loan report.
Make a motion to approve the loan report.
Okay, we have a second, all in favor? Aye. And deposits and invoices. Talk to that, Glenn.
I didn't have anything to bring to your attention unless
Okay,
there's a
just a
question.
normal.
Yep, just a
The only
normal
question I have
process.
is I've noticed in past minutes that we haven't approved that per se through resolution. I think
Well,
we
it's
probably
kind of, in the past, everything was lumped together. Yeah,
Okay.
everything was lumped together.
Okay.
I
I know with at other levels that I've been at, the warrant report is
in
addressed separately.
the auditors haven't given us any feedback on
True,
that when it's lumped in as part of the treasurer's report.
That's good.
So I thought that,
Yep.
you know, that's what we've been.
So we
doing now
consider
for-
deposits and invoices being under the treasury.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, perfect, thank you. All right, Delhi Sewage Works.
Okay. sorry, I only remembered this when I was on a phone call with Wayne yesterday, so I just did it this morning.
Well, that's good.
We're gonna have to
At
start
least
our
you
calls
did.
on Wednesday.
We might want to start on Monday.
Of the week before.
The week after the latest meeting.
Yeah, okay, so, our income is the user fees. And then our expenses, our primary expenses are our monthly, management fee to, Cedarwood, Engineering. No, sorry, Cedarwood Operations, and our utility expense. The majority of the operating expense is the fee the IDA charges for managing the books. We get $1,200 a month for managing the finances of the Sewage Works Corporation. And then just some miscellaneous, 804 repair and maintenance, we did have one break this year, but I consider that a good year.
So how are we still working on getting rid of this?
Scott, I think the reality is that we can't force anybody to take it and nobody wants it.
For showing it.
There's one card we could play, and it's a losing card because we would fold. And that is to shut them off. And we can say we're gonna do that, but their first call would be higher up. It would come down to the county. They would contact me and be like, what the hell are you doing?
Correct.
And I'll explain the situation. And they're like, well, that sucks, but guess what?
No, it's more like the village taking it over.
Nope,
Is that
never gonna happen.
politics?
Yep,
Because this would say that essentially we made $18,000 on this.
That's what,
The
why would one
village
of
want
the,
to make $18,000?
why would one of the users do it?
they don't want the liability.
It's gotta be the village.
Speaking of.
It has to be, and it couldn't be, so legally, it couldn't be the village, it would have to be the town. Because it's within the town
Right.
boundary, so the town would have to create,
Yeah, but if,
I mean, municipalities own property outside of their
Right.
actual municipal
Town,
boundaries.
city,
own by
hospital.
village
yeah, but they
and
wouldn't own
sewer
the
treatment
property,
plants.
there'd have to be a right of way.
yeah, there is through, there's easements along the line. Yeah.
Right, so we don't own the land, we have an easement on the land,
Right,
so.
but we own the
village
pump
could-
station
Right,
We transfer that easement to them.
and the pipe.
And the actual infrastructure.
So just, all right, somebody's gotta own it and it's making money, why don't we want
Cause it,
The liability.
liability, okay? It's, and we,
Which might be the same reason the village.
Yeah, but-
wants to take it on,
What's, yeah, but
But
what
they get
is,
grants easier than we get grants.
Yeah, but so the liability is that sometime in the next 5 to 20 years, that pipeline needs to be
Replaced
replaced.
and bigger.
so the money we're making is, we better be encumbering it for a replacement, what you're saying.
Well, no, because our tax has been. So any money, not to say the IDA hasn't, in the past, hadn't put in any money. At the end of the day, for the replacement of the pump station, the IDA probably put in $10,000-15,000 of its own money. Everything else is built back to the industries. And
Including
that's,
repairs.
yeah, and repairs are now, so, every expense that we incur is billed to the industries, and that makes up their user fee. The profit is, we do upcharge on the irregular things, when parts need to be replaced, and when there's non-operational services that are required, we do have an upcharge on that. And that's really more, it's not necessarily to make money, it was to make the Sewer Works Corporation self-sufficient so that when a break occurs and we have immediate expenses we need to pay, we can pay them without having to borrow money from the IDS.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, I'm ignorant on this, but village already runs a sewer treatment plant, right? So is there more liability for this than there is for theirs?
No, so the big issue, nobody wants to pay for the future, replacement of the pumps. And the village is concerned that if they do it, and it becomes public infrastructure and they're connected to them, they're responsible for that infrastructure in between. I mean,
Isn't that likely to get state money though?
Oh, yeah.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
it was originally built with federal money, it was improved with state money. A replacement pipeline was gonna be funded via state funding. If and when we pulled that trigger, so. Yeah,
what would be
the liability is manageable, but just nobody wants to
Is it
take on the extra work of managing it.
Can we insure it? I mean,
It's insured.
so aren't they taking the liability then?
So really the only main liability is the replacement of the pipeline in the future.
And do we know what the rough ballpark cost is on that?
Yeah, we had an
Just a rough
estimate,
$100,000, $50,000.
2 million, 3 million.
and it wasn't 3
2
million,
million.
I thought it was like 1.5. Probably.
Could the sewer works corp budget allocations to CapEx
That's what we're.
reserve? So that a little bit, you know,
And
they're
if
paying
it's-
for it a little bit at a time and it's not.
and if this isn't sufficient income to.
But so here's my tact on that.
The cost of the user fee.
There are
So
it's gonna be.
I like that.
Yeah, here's my tact on that though, if we charge a capital fee, we are accepting responsibility for the replacement of the line.
Right,
I'm not accepting responsibility for the
Well, who would
replacement of
be?
the line.
You being the sewer works corp? Or you being
Me
that?
being the sewer works for
Who would be, if, just asking the obvious question, who is that?
the industries are gonna come to us and they're gonna be like, oh, well, what are you gonna do? And I'm gonna be like, I have no responsibility for that.
So it blows up and we're gonna,
And we'll shepherd, this is what we did with the pump station, right?
then somebody will
So-
bail you out
The
and.
big picture challenge here is you're gonna retire at some point, and the next CEO of the organization is gonna go, what the hell are we doing with this? And we've got two really big industries that are vital to the county, to ag, to employment. We've gotta keep them going. It's kind of a bigger problem than just run the line. It's a lot of freaking work. Is it the best place for your efforts? Or your successor's efforts? What's the
Well-
legacy you wanna leave?
Oh, yeah, I promised for years I was gonna take care of this, but, we don't have. We don't have interested partners, because everything is fine with it right now. So the users are, they're not interested in talking about anything. Even the village can't get them to the table to talk about user agreements and come to arrangements on that.
Because they're
Are they-
stock-based companies and they're only interested in the next quarter, but that's not the right long-term plan.
Right, but they're also, they're going through upper management every 6 months.
And.
Are they constrained by the capacity?
I would
At
say
this point?
something executive session.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Do they anticipate being constrained?
It's like, if you don't have enough money for the house,
Expansion.
somebody will bail you out,
Planning.
right? But if you have the money, then it's gonna be your own.
I think
It's like-
with the improvements that have been made from the one company, No, I don't think they're constrained.
Not because they're pre-treating.
I think as as they go forward with their pre-treatment, that I don't think they're constrained for the next 5 years.
So now one on the right and one on the left. If
Uh,
you're looking from the
the
street,
one on the right,
it's doing it free.
yes, and the one on the
Okay.
left is talking about it,
Okay,
but they've been talking about it for 5 or 6 years, so.
so that mitigates their chances of hitting any capacity issue with what gets pumped back to Delaware,
Right.
This is no problem.
At least short term.
which is all their management's worried about. Because they might not be there later.
Right, and one of
Sure,
the things is,
everyone anyway.
No,
Right.
yeah,
but won't be their problem. You know. So,
All right,
Nice.
Some insight.
something to think about,
Yes.
because while it's
Yeah.
not a problem today, it'll be a big problem when something happens.
Well, we've already had some issues come up
Mhm.
that have been addressed with, I'm gonna call them smaller issues, but. If the big one happens, that's, I just see a lot of fingers going in a lot of directions that we may not have answers for.
Mhm.
In ours, I don't think can be, I don't think it can be that.
Even things as small as written policies and procedures. Does everybody know what our philosophy is gonna be? Probably not. But I know you love to write policy. I live by. Unfortunately. We all do.
Part of it.
all right. So yeah, so we will do some more admin focused stuff on the sewer works.
Because that is a ticking issue.
In a perfect world, Glenn, who would you say should be responsible for taking all the politics out and everything, out of the discussion?
I think it's been said here, the easiest is the village.
Or their system. It's an extension of their system.
Right.
Where there's been multiple mayors.
Yeah.
That's part of the truth.
And also, so they have their own challenges with their system as well in terms of licensed management of the facility, and they have concerns with that.
thought is, the ultimate beneficiary of having this waste pumped up to Delhi. Is there any interest from that party that sometime down the road, before something bad happens, is there anything they can do as far as dollars go? You know, city,
Well, the city, I think the city would be more than happy if that line didn't exist anymore.
well,
Setting
what
that
they
aside.
don't want is the stuff ending up in their
In the river.
world,
Right.
Right.
which, you know, I don't know if there's any opportunities there, let's say. Again, not a tomorrow thing,
Yeah.
but,
Right, so they do have funds allocated towards economic sustainability. And
CWC does too.
that's what,
That's it.
that's what funding on
Just-
some
right,
entity.
Question.
I don't know.
Right, here she is, so we can't talk about her.
Yeah, we can't talk about
I don't, just thought,
Yeah, no, yeah.
yeah.
You know, look, the DSW is kind of the redheaded stepchild of the organization. I know it needs more focus.
Who has a name tag on, so she remembers who she is.
I did have to speak on microphone today, or into a microphone, so Glenn, yeah, really set me up for
So-
that.
Where's your narrative here?
For what? For this one?
Hmm.
Why'd you have to come to this one?
So a meeting with the village of
This right
town
up?
which doesn't really hold any.
Yeah, they'll just say, oh, it's your problem.
This?
There's no incentive for them.
Yeah.
How to create the, well, we'll talk about that offline. There's always a way to create.
I laughed.
We just have to push.
So I think what you guys have said is the direction, is we need to at least establish the basis for how the how and why the Sewer Works Corporation is operating this way to document how we got from 1998 to 2025.
Right.
You know, that's been how long that's been in there, and what our role is and what our role isn't. And
Right.
clearly state that we are not accepting any liability for future replacement. We are solely an in-place interim manager of the asset.
So we're saying we're not capital investing. We will handle the short-term expenses to a degree, but we're not the entity that's gonna be making a capital investment 25 years down the road to.
Right.
Oh, it's 3 to 5 years.
What's that?
It's 3 to 5 years to put in a new pipeline.
I mean,
It could
I've
be.
heard varying dates.
at points in the past, it was,
At points in the past, it was.
has to be done now.
Yes.
Yes, and that's all gone
Here
away.
we are.
Yeah.
And here we are.
And here we go.
Here we are, 5 years later.
And I think that's
With
got
a lot of
to be,
Band-Aids.
yeah, and I think that's got to be made clear that whether it's 3 to 5 or
Where's the
15 or
locker?
20, it's
Thank you.
it's something where the ability to capital invest for improvements is not coming through us. We need to make that clear.
Yes,
If it isn't, we need definitely make sure they understand that it's not us. And that will elicit some response from
The industries.
the customers.
Yeah.
And then we can move from there maybe as a start.
Because so much of this has been fireside conversations.
Yeah.
That it's not written down anywhere. And they change management down there so often, nobody knows what's going on. And they don't have a source document to look back at.
As far as
So
they know,
we'll
it
provide
exists and will always exist. I mean, don't have to worry about it.
Correct.
Does that sound right?
When they flush, it goes away.
Usually.
It goes somewhere.
We're in a perfect scale.
It's always away from them.
I'll tell them.
And then it's somewhere.
Okay, let's move on to sales contracts discussion.
okay, so, we have one related to, our Sydney property. Their, due diligence, period had expired in just a week, 10 days ago. They had requested a 30-day extension, because some of the warts of the building that we were aware of, they found some new information on. So they asked for a 30-day extension to their sales contract, which I agreed to, understanding why. The one for our Walton property has been, oh, and I'm sorry. When they renewed it, they did put down an additional deposit. It's refundable, but they still did put down an additional deposit on the property. The Walton property, that has been signed and the contract has been signed and the deposit received. Carly's been busy. I haven't had a chance to find out the updated status of that, but that was probably with the receipt of the deposit was 2 to 3 weeks ago. So still early yet for an actual transfer. We had talked about a business prospect that we've been working with for a little while down in the Walton area regarding their intentions to purchase the property and move forward with the project. So they are going before the planning board in November for final approval for renewal of their site plan. And they said that as long as they get that approval, they understand they need to move forward as soon as possible and that they would be purchasing the property outside the scope of their project and financing just to make the idea more comfortable that it's moving forward. And that they would anticipate closing on that before the end of the year through a cash sale. Not as part of the entire investment of the project.
We also didn't, bring this up until I went to the town board meeting when the question was asked, who owns the property? And that started the conversation. So I think he's on to it now. I think we're moving forward, maybe for real this time.
And just the only thing, I'd have to review it.
The only thing that changed was the square footage by like 1,000 feet.
On the site plan,
Yeah.
the site plan's essentially the same,
Yeah.
so. It's procedural to get site plan approval, and then once he has that approval, we'll move forward with our purchase.
And then according to him, fairly quickly. Permits and. Sure. I don't know what percentage of funding he has secured at this point.
And, or what fairly quickly means.
Is there any other docs
He said,
this year?
he said site work this year.
Any other documents that we need to be updated from the original approval that we had? Is the idea anything?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for the pilot agreement,
Yeah.
we would have to,
Oh,
we
yeah.
would have to redo that whole process.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd have to rehold the public hearing. Now, we don't have to do all of the resolutions, we would probably just need to do a resolution to extend, because our pilot is good for, our approvals are good for 12 months, I believe, under a pilot agreement. So, yeah, we're well past that. Yeah, we'll be 24 months past that. Yeah, so we'll have to have another public hearing and say, yeah, we are still honoring the original, but we will have.
And what will trigger that? What will trigger us to do that is,
Once he's like moving forward,
okay, truly moving,
truly moving forward.
and we don't need to define moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, so that would happen when he closes on his other
Yeah.
financing, because it would be part of the part of his bank financing. Yeah, we would close at the same time
So we
as the
get the
bank.
planning board approval, we get the financing done, and then we're ready to public hearing.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's it unless I'm missing one. Oh, the other one is our property on, in Sydney, another property in Sydney, in the industrial park. We're on that lease to own basis. The slowness is on his part. His payments to us under his lease to own is greater than what his mortgage would be, so it's up to him.
What address is that?
12.
That was the guy that came up from southern part of the county.
Yep, and his business is doing well. He's reportedly,
What were the warps on that building?
with that one, no. Oh, what I was talking about was the one over at 135.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
But
the whole thing
12
is-
shouldn't have it.
Yeah, no, 12 doesn't have any, other than just normal wear and tear. Yeah, so nothing, roof's good, everything's good, yeah. Nah, I'm not talking about the other one.
12 should be in good shape.
Yeah, 12 is fine. For now.
Oh, yeah, so, all right, so Lindsay brought up, we did have an issue with the roof leak on our building at 8 Winkler Road. We had Alpine Roofing out there, this is one we own and lease. We do have a potential deal coming for the sale, but there was a leak. There may be some gutter work and a roof patch and.
I
Well, it
requested-
wasn't Alpine, it was it Alpine and Premier, right?
Yeah, it was Premier, and I'm requesting 3 quotes, one for the full building, one for the building or the bronze section, and
And then one just for a fix.
yeah,
And the full roof is more to provide information to the future owner.
Next one.
That building's probably 35 years old by now.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, so it's not surprising that there's some roof issues and there's some gutter issues,
Yeah.
but
and
other
it's
than
very-
that, it's,
we haven't been cleaning gutters and all those other things, so.
alright, so thank you, Lindsay, I'd forgotten about that.
And just last thing, I probably, on that discussion we had with, or you had with the EPA property in Sydney, anything more on that?
No.
Okay, and now is that, and this is a silly question, but is that something we should call them about? Are we interested in that property? Does it have potential?
I think there is redevelopment value in that property.
Okay.
Yes, and yeah, so I will reach out to EPA on that.
Because that
And
basically,
or have, so we've been working in partnership with the local realtor there.
Yeah.
I'll nudge her again on that. She's got a good relationship with them and she's persistent, you know, like a realtor,
so that
so.
was pretty much a freebie.
Yes, be
Is that
freebie,
right?
yeah.
How many acres was it?
That will be usable. It's probably 8 to 10. Yeah,
You should do a little deed search.
we've done all that.
Is it still in the IDA's name?
Talking about that.
It
So,
was in the IDA's name in the mid-90s and Paul Eaton and I signed the deed and mailed it to the EPA and we never heard another thing.
right,
So I don't know if it got transferred out of the Sydney IDA's name.
it depends on what records you look at. Sometimes it's still in the Sydney IDA's name.
Okay,
Sometimes it is in the prior owner's name.
right, GCO Pine Tree,
Yeah. All of whom are passed.
correct.
Yeah.
But are we the follow to
No,
from the
I
Sydney
don't-
IDA?
What's that?
Would we be to the Sydney IDA?
Merged into the.
But we never took, it's delineated, when we took over the Sydney IDA, it was delineated what property was transferred to us. This property is not.
That one.
No.
So, but that being said, it still could be a free per se.
Yes, yeah, so that's what they're looking
Nothing
for.
free, I guess.
You know, once they reach that mechanism where the EPA gives it to the the DEC will be looking for a municipal or quasi-municipal owner to take ownership of that property.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of all the ones we're moving off the books, it's time to start finding other properties. that we
Yes.
Move on the books. Maybe some others too. so.
Yes.
Let's go to the loan cost benefit analysis.
Yeah, so after our last meeting, you know, it was kind of, oh, we could use some more information to see, you know, not all of our, so just to make sure that when we're making a loan, we're doing so for good reasons, whether they be good financial reasons or good broader community benefit reasons. So Lindsay and I talked about it and she came up with a draft and we made some changes and this is where we are so far. Wanted to bring it before the board, so we would get a lot more detailed information regarding the project expenses. You know, Scott alluded to this earlier. We would, sorry, I gotta refresh my timed out. Then we would get more detailed information on employment, both existing and future. And, you know, wages and benefits of that. More detailed information regarding the types of jobs being created and wages. And then trying to come up with some reasonable community benefit, you know, beyond direct benefit, things in terms of goods and services purchased, goods and services sold, you know, what estimates of taxes would be, Now, ideally, the applicant will be filling out 100%, but that'll never happen. But if the applicant fills out 90% and then asks for us for some help on some of the broader impacts, the tax calculations, I would expect that to happen. That happens with our pilot agreements now, so that's fine. And then giving them a chance to just, elaborate on any other benefits that they have, just to provide a better sense of why we're getting involved in projects. And if you had a chance to look at it, is there anything we're missing, or if you haven't, but you do review it, and if you think there's anything we're missing or need to change or could highlight better, let us know.
The only thing I would ask on is, from a resource standpoint, as I look at this document, it's asking for quite a bit more. It really isn't, but appears to be more information that I would expect that a lot of the ones would make. The people asking for those loans are gonna call you and your resources to say.
You can look at me when you say that.
Yeah. My concern is that we're gonna continue to tie up new resources with these types of, it's warranted, it's necessary probably. I'm just worried about your resources already being tight, and then adding this, which is gonna have them 10 more calls to you to say, well, yeah, well, I don't, help me with that part of the process. Does it help us on our end approving the loan? Sure.
I think that, at least in my standpoint for right now, it is my ultimate goal to essentially make them complete that to the best of their ability. I'll handhold when I need to, but I've really started to acknowledge that if you can't do the paperwork, how are you gonna run a business?
Right.
And now that I'm to that point and I'm comfortable with that, this is a little bit more work, but it's not added to my plate if they're committed to doing something that is gonna be successful. So,
And this is something they'd have to do if we sent them to see Michelle Caton at the Small Business Development Center, or Martha Brower, or whatever her name is, would do the same thing. Two things that I had thought we should add is sometimes an electrical deposit is needed with NYSEG or National Grid or whomever you're dealing with, and that's always a surprise because they want what seems to be more than you're prepared for. And the
can
second,
you elaborate on that? Like,
Okay.
meaning they should pay some sort of fee to apply?
No, but they should,
Be aware of it.
so if you're gonna start your business in ABC building, NYSEG is gonna want you to put a deposit with them.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it's cash that you're like, oh, where am I coming up with that from? And now I gotta show it something
How
else.
sizable is that now?
No, I've seen between 1 and 20,000.
So it's
So-
sizable.
yeah, so maybe under other costs, we might wanna elaborate a couple.
Yes,
Seems
it
like
is.
a couple of months.
Right, and it may apply to other forms of infrastructure too. There may be a tie-in fee for your septic and things like that.
Right.
If it's nothing more than making them aware of, hey,
That it's
oops,
possible.
yeah,
Right.
Probably.
You know, when you've got a bucket of cash and who you're spending that cash with, and suddenly NYSEG wants $5,000 to hook you up.
Sort of like,
It's cash that was diverted from someplace else. And the other one that ticked me off the other day was when a guy called me and said, cash flow is not quite what it used to be or what it should be. And I said, so what are you drawing? I'm taking 180 grand. And I'm like, well, when you were a consultant for this company, what were you getting paid? 40. Why aren't you still getting paid 40? So the question on wages is, what's your owner's draw gonna be? You're the last one who needs to get paid, not the first one who needs to get
Are you
paid.
sure? You're positive about
In theory.
that? In theory, yeah.
Doug Theory would tell you, in theory, clearly that's how it's supposed to
I
be.
don't know
But
why
also
you
in
tried to
theory,
tell me it
they're the ones taking the risk, so.
And
Well, that's true. Hey,
And a
I
lot
signed
of
the
people
promissory
that-
Gotta
note.
balance that a little bit.
goes through. You know, when I first started the business, there were times I had to take a paycheck, go through with no money.
Right.
After I paid the rest of the employees.
Yeah.
You know, Lindsay, maybe we add a line in there under wages for owner, a
Owner's draw.
specific one that says
Right.
owner's draw.
And it needs to be specific, owner's draw, owner's salary. And that gives you an idea of how realistic they are. If they're gonna say, well, I'm gonna make $100,000 and I'm not paying anybody else more than 30.
Right.
And the whole budget doesn't seem to work, and you're like,
No,
okay, you need to rethink this here.
Mhm.
All right, that's all I had.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty, the questionnaire is driven on their outflows of money primarily.
Yeah.
That their inflows are gonna determine the success here, not what goes out, it's the end. So I don't know if we should make them think about that side a little bit more as far as in the application.
well, we did have here, we have amount of goods and services sold before the project
Right.
and amount after. We can change that wording to make it more specific, I
Yeah,
guess.
but they're also supposed to be doing a 5-year projection. That's also.
Right.
Yeah, but so they can, you know, they should be able to restate it, again, like Lindsay
Right.
says, if this is legitimate.
Right.
And you know, look, there's gonna be people who don't do this very well, and we still work with them. But it's also about raising expectations.
Right, but what
And
I'm
they
saying
have
is
their
that they're doing a
performance,
5-year
Their
projection, they
PFS?
should be knowing what they think.
Right, yeah, so they can just
That's in
easily
the
put that number in.
application.
Its point's right on. How many hamburgers do you think you're gonna sell? And if the answer is 100, 365 days a year in Maridale, we're gonna tell you, you need to recalculate.
Yeah.
I'm respecting this whole damn county.
All right, so we'll look at options for maybe adding a few more lines related to revenues.
Right.
Yeah.
So in the aspect, and what do you wanna see? Just more specific as to how many units need to be sold? I mean, we did that with one of
Oh,
our.
that's a point, you should have break even.
We should have something along those lines. I guess you wanna see enough information they thought about. They know where they are today. They're gonna make this investment to try to get to tomorrow.
Hmm.
It's trying to lift this a bit. It's, how do you, you know, it's somewhat of a dream, but is there some solid rungs on the ladder to get to the dream? Meaning, what's the market? You know, I can only there's only so many people I can sell hamburgers to in Meredith. So I can't put 5,000 down, it's not reality,
Yeah,
so, you know. The cost side is pretty easy,
yeah,
but it's the revenue side that takes a bit more attention.
okay,
Like, how do I get there?
But they should have that in their mind already.
And
Saying, if I'm only going to invest $20,000 in the business, I expect to have my gross go up by 40,000 or maybe, it's not worth me putting money into it.
And so articulate that so that
Right.
Lindsay knows it and she can call bullshit, or she can say,
Yes.
yeah, that seems reasonable.
I'm pretty good at doing that.
She could ask, hey, did you think about cheeseburgers?
Right. That would make an extra 75. If you had bacon and now you got an extra 100.
I like it. It's a nice stock. Restore New York, Glenn, what we've got going there.
There's no restore.
Too late.
I have some things I'd like to discuss in executive session.
As related to that,
Yes.
you wanna keep going down the list here? Or do we-
Sure.
Catskill Wayfinder, Sophie Show.
All right.
Please do that, okay? Alright, so.
I've done that before. At a walk run.
So this is a Catskill Wayfinder. You may have heard it under a number of different working names since about 2021, I believe, is when Evan, if y'all remember him, he started out the application process for this project. They received the funding, I believe it was deferred a year or two, and then got started on this project, which I inherited in February. So the goal was to create a mapping tool to help folks find different outdoor recreational assets and heritage and or cultural points in Delaware County. So we have a finished product here. This is the main website where folks will land when we launch the marketing campaign starting next March. Just kind of wanted to give you all a look here. Actually, it looks quite sleek on the phone as well. Kind of broke it down into 4 categories, so if people don't want to look at museums and libraries, they can go straight to fishing access, kind of a deal. Just kind of want to show you one, just as an example. And what we're hoping to do is to give you all a quick look at this, and then on your own time, if you're interested in providing feedback, we're super interested in getting opinions, thoughts, and ways to improve on this. So this is just our splash screen here, and everything will hopefully load. That's great. So here you have all of the points in Delaware County for history and heritage. We will be adding more as we will be adding the historic markers. Anyway, just to give you kind of an idea, you can search by municipality. So let's say we want to do Hamden. We'll zoom in on the municipal boundary. And we can check out what there is to do in Hamden. Thank you. Bear with us, taking a look. All right, so here's, I guess, not as a great example, but a historic marker. It gives you a quick description, and then it can also give you directions, whether you want to use Apple Maps, Google Maps, and then you can also view details. This is for every point. And we have a really incredible back end with all of this great information, with collaboration with the GIS lab right next door. This has been a huge lift in terms of getting all the accurate GPS information so people can map from wherever they are right to these points. And then you can also get a lot of different, hopefully interesting and worthwhile information for people who are trying to plan trips and or learn a little bit more about different points in the county. Everything from fishing access, like I said, to museums, libraries, historic markers. We're going to add cemeteries, of which there are over 700 in Delaware County, if you can believe it. Boat launches, hiking trails, snowmobile trail access, biking routes, and the future of this project, we're hoping to add commercial entities, so add in lodging, retail, hoping to add, farmers market trails and or, local bookstores, and tying in all kinds of opportunities that way. So
Yeah,
I know that's a lot, but anyway.
Yeah, so just due to the funding source, we were only allowed to do the nonprofit related aspects first. In the future, once we're up and running and comfortable and have tweaked it to no end, and we're ready, then we will add in tourism related private businesses that make sense, your restaurants, your, kayak rentals, or, sporting goods stores, or motels, things of that nature. So you can actually, see what else is in the area around it.
Right, so
That's a future project when we're able to get additional funding.
So-
Can you use the bed tax funding to do that for businesses?
Probably, I think we're probably a little bit beyond what we would be able to afford to do with bed tax. I think this would have to be a separate standalone application.
No, I mean, take funding from bed tax to pay for putting commercial on there.
I know, I don't think we would be able to afford to do it with our, so
But now that it's.
what we get out of the occupancy tax on an annual basis, well, it changes year by year, but what we're projecting for 2026 is $242,000. This project alone was 200 and say 10, just to get to this far. So it wouldn't be the same, but you know, that 242, that covers our whole budget. It doesn't go very far. At the end of the day, we have an allotment of basically like $30,000 for new projects, you know, on an annual basis.
Sorry, just poking around while.
So this is fantastic.
If that takes you to Google Maps after you hit one of the locations.
Yep.
So you're in your Google Maps,
Mhm.
you will now have your links to hotels, restaurants, all that.
Right.
Map.
Oh.
I mean,
Yeah.
so
Which would be
It would-
helpful.
and
it'll be
it
right
is-
there.
Right. Yeah, but we were just thinking if we can create more of a curated opportunity, right? If we're doing like a 48 hours in Delaware County and we wanna work with our PR agency, like, hey, look, we're really trying to push Plattekill, like. We wanna do a ski vacation, then go opera, and then, you know, do something fun museum wise with the kids in the afternoon. We can just be like,
It's
yep,
all on. the
we can
same
just
page.
put it all in here and just, you know, have it as a highlighted itinerary, or we can do a custom to Delaware County, like bookshop tour, or not tour, but trail, right? So you can highlight all the different bookshops and kind of tie things together in that way. While Google does do that, just thinking is slightly more curated, but yes, they do that excellently.
Yeah.
But just trying to add value to this and, you know, prolong so it doesn't get put on the shelf. But yeah, we have, all the trailheads have an incredible amount of information. This was probably. So we have also user generated these photos of the parking lots, giving people an idea of where everything is. Parking, accessibility, rules and regulations. Pretty much, we're hoping everything you would need to, you know, build a trip. We understand that there's all trails, but in terms of having all the cultural points, heritage, outdoor opportunities, tying kind of it all together and marketing it as exclusively Delaware County. So yeah, that's it. I mean, there's a lot to see, but I'm happy to share the link again.
So
Yes.
and this is probably a bad question.
No such thing.
Is there a way to monetize this to return dollars back to your group that can then be used to improve it further? Advertisements, like all the rest of the websites in the world do. I don't know if you want to do that. I'm just
Sure.
wondering if, to create a stream of revenue coming back so you can continue to improve and do other things with it.
That's an idea. I don't know if we can do that with this currently, but as we add,
And
Towards-
when we get to the
Just a
next
thought,
step, I
Yeah.
think, so maybe it's a annual fee to have your tourism related business appear on this.
right, and then add local ads of the different businesses.
There's so many ways to monetize it. Some of them go over the top and you hate them, but some.
Yeah, we don't wanna make it.
We don't wanna be
That's what I'm
hated.
saying. When you get to the point where somebody says, I'm not even going to that site anymore because it dominates, but I'm just trying to think of a way to get some funding back into, because these are costly. I mean, it doesn't go away.
No.
There's the upfront cost, but
Maintenance is,
maintenance monthly, annually, there's just cost that you're gonna incur that if you could monetize it someplace somehow without overburdening the site, so it takes forever to load up and do all the other things.
absolutely,
It would be, I think, worthwhile.
I agree. I mean, that might be a conversation we can ask the TPA about, but we did make a plan to budget for that in our tourism budget every year, maintenance, so we at least can
Even if
answer,
that's all you cover.
right,
Yeah, because that would be very reasonable to cover right through ads. We wouldn't have to charge a lot.
yeah.
Is this live now?
It is published, we are not promoting it currently, we're just asking
You'd have
for.
to find it.
Yeah, that's.
Or you could find it.
You could
Yes.
find it. You can Google Catskills Wayfinder right now and it'll come up for you. But we are not starting our push until we finish verifying all GPS coordinates and information are correct because we did have a huge number of folks involved in this over about a year and a half. So just wanna make sure the information is as accurate
And
as
looking
possible.
for, and until we get input from important people like the IDA board.
So 71,
Absolutely, yep.
Just-
I'm going to,
Whatever mine, no, just main headings that you.
Yep.
Outdoor.
outdoor adventure, camping and nature access, water access and activities.
That's the whole, there's not one.
The four, so the
And then
way,
you dive in from there.
so, and the reason why we did this is if you go to the actual mapping tool itself and you're like, show me everything that you've done, the screws come loose. So we just wanted to organize it into more general categories and you can see all of them and clear all the filters. And this is where the user experience testing comes in, is like, I know that I can go to map layers eventually. We'll get there. And you can see how the four categories kind of correspond here. You can turn them all on. And then have everything, but we were discussing with Wi-Fi capacity and if you're out in the wild, you know, like if on a cell phone, that if it's not all gonna come up. You just wanna be able to have it load, because people have about a 3-second attention span, if that page isn't loaded, then you're done. They're leaving, so.
Thanks, Dad.
Outdoor adventures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what are the headings?
So, hold on a second, I'll just. I know, I just wanna. So outdoor adventures is, we have summits, fire towers, trailhead parking, trails, which is hiking trails, cross-country trails, equestrian trails, mountain bike, which should just be cycling actually, and then snowmobile. And then we also did more outdoor rec, which is, we have waterfalls, ball fields, and different parks. So, and that's a category that we're still building out because we realized, like I was saying, we just needed to verify data and there's a few that were missing, so. Anyway, sorry, I won't take up any more, time here.
No, that's great.
Um,
I just
No, it's a lot of work. Good, beautiful.
System here is a little slow, 'cause I'm a little concerned, because if it's.
Yeah, if it's that slow, yeah, that's not working.
Right, which is why we were talking about splitting up the four categories so that there wasn't as much of a load,
But I'm
because
just saying that I did the same thing and I'm not having performance issues here,
that's good.
so.
Yeah, and Ed said he was
I
using
just,
his phone.
I was pulling up on my phone, and I'm not connected, and it's working quick.
yeah.
So, good, just one comment, we have a Catskills Wayfinder.
Yep.
I see Catskill Wayfinder is also available,
Yes, and we should buy that.
we should buy that quickly.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to get to first.
Got it.
It's just simple things like that.
No, I agree completely. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. Excellent information. Micro enterprise.
Alright, so we were recently informed that we are approved on, this is coming under the LDC, mind you. That we were recently approved for, the county was recently approved for a micro enterprise grant for $300,000. That program is pretty specific, it's targeting startup businesses. Well, it's for micro enterprises, so that's a business with 5 or fewer employees, counting ownership. It's targeting both startup and expansion, but at least 50% of the projects have to be new startup businesses. And there is a entrepreneurial training component where there'll be a 8 to 9 session course where they'll learn all aspects of operating a new business. And then for people that successfully complete that program, they will have the opportunity to apply for a grant to assist with either starting the business or expanding the business. It would be a 50-50 matching grant of up to $35,000. So it's a county grant. Our involvement is that the county will work with the LDC as a subrecipient. The LDC will assume all administrative and financial aspects of administering the grant, take the lead in the ultimate recipient grants to the businesses that apply, and work with Western Catskills Community Revitalization Corporation on shortening their name, but also they will be the primary provider of the entrepreneurial training to the businesses themselves. We did that because, you know, as the board is constantly reminding me that me and my staff can't do everything. And so understanding we probably didn't have the capacity to do the full amount of this program, working with them on the delivery of the entrepreneurial training component.
Be a conflict of interest anyway, if you did the training.
What? Everything I do is a conflict.
Can you imagine what they're doing training? I
Doesn't
can't,
it look good?
I can't. Thank goodness. for
What
doing-
what was the cap on that grant?
What's that?
What was it, where'd that grant cap out, 100K?
No, so it's maximum 35,000.
35, okay.
Yeah. And typically, so there are some other caveats to this. So the business itself has to be owned by somebody who meets low to moderate income guidelines, or result in the creation of a job for somebody who meets low to moderate income guidelines.
That part, that's.
So, you know, depending on, so that's all dependent upon family size. So, you know, and it's based off of tax return data. You know, if it's a family of 4, I think it's gotta be below $58,000. I mean, how many businesses have we, especially startup related, come across where the proprietor, you know, had an income lower than that level? I mean, a good amount, you know, of our startup ones, maybe not our larger ones, but yeah.
Sorry.
Wayne and I are picking on you, don't worry.
That's okay, hey. So this program is what it is, you know, we ran this back in the mid-teens, I think 15 through 19, 15 through 18. We ran 3 micro enterprise programs. By the time we got to the 3rd, you know, we had surpassed the good amount of projects. So I think we will probably do this one, maybe re-up for another one, and then we'll probably take a couple years off and then revisit it. I don't think this is not something we wanna do each and every year, because then you get in a situation where you're like, well, we got the money, we might as well give it to them, kind of thing, and that's really not what we're trying to target.
I think that this is a good couple years for this grant, considering we're seeing an increased demand in entrepreneurial and small businesses. So ultimately, at the end of the day, this will help to alleviate some of our other funds for,
Free up our other funds for bigger projects.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I mean, to add on that, we do have a couple other programs that are running in tandem with this, or will be. And there will be folks searching for funding and looking to build out positions within their organization, so hopefully that will help as well.
Yeah, and also, most importantly, I should say that this micro enterprise program is targeting Main Street businesses and agricultural related businesses. Because Lindsay wouldn't let me do anything without putting ag in it, so.
Glenn, how many, the other go around, the previous one, this one, the micro enterprise, how many entities did we have?
So I did the numbers in prep for this application this spring. I think we averaged around 14 businesses per program. I think for this, trying to, everything's more expensive than everything now. I think we're targeting to serve 10 to 12 businesses through this program. Yeah, so it's not like it's gonna be a huge thing, and that's why we probably would do it for a year or two, or two iterations of this type of program, get to 10 to 20 businesses, and that's probably it for a time period before you're exhausting your pool of good projects.
Do we have to repay this?
No.
But the funds have to be used within 2 years?
Within 2 years, yeah, but our target is to have this, all of the funds, or at least 80% of the funds allocated by the end of 26 and reapply for more money for 27. It'd be an expedited application process to just continue it. And then, so get another 300,000, that'll probably go through 27, maybe into 28, and then, okay, take a couple of years off, and Lindsay can decide in 2030 whether she wants to do it again.
Good chance of it.
I have one question. So on these grants, it's a 50% match. As a policy, we're not lending the match, right? The owner match.
Not necessarily as a policy, but we would have our same lending criteria in that businesses would have to be turned down by a bank first. But yes, the idea is to take pressure, the idea of this program is to take some pressure off of our small business lending while we're focusing on collections, because
Right, so generally speaking, we're not gonna provide the 50% match in the form of a loan.
I would not anticipate we do that very often.
Okay, that's what I'm just wondering.
Yeah,
But we have the option too. I guess I'm
Yeah.
just wondering the mechanics
Yeah.
of it.
we have the option to do it, but we are not required to do it.
Perfect, okay.
It would
That
be
answers
on
the question.
a case review, it'd be like any other loan that we brought before the board.
Yeah, I was more concerned with whether it was prohibited or encouraged or something like that.
It's neither.
Okay.
Yeah.
Neutral, got it.
Yeah, neutral.
Quick update on the audit.
Okay, so comptroller's audit, so apparently, a month or 2 or 3 ago, I misspoke when I said that, once the audit is complete, the IDA will not have a chance to review the audit before it's made public. And, Alan, I guess I can use his name, from the comptroller's office, reach out to TAC to correct me on that and state that, yes, we will have a chance to review the report prior to it being made public. And any comments that we have on their draft report will also be released in conjunction with the audit. And so Alan, I'm sorry, I know you're always watching, and just wanted to make that correction.
Have we received the draft yet?
No, but he said it should be coming soon, next several weeks.
Excellent.
Yeah. I'm sure it will be.
Any other older new business under the IDA section of our discussion?
We'll do the executive session.
We will, do you want to go when we get down to?
Yeah, we can do it.
Item 4,
Okay.
and then we'll do all these at one time. Okay, let's open up the LDC. I'm sorry, any other, Chris, Florida, anything? Okay, LDC, sorry,
Adjournment.
Well, if we leave it open.
We'll leave it
we can
open
Come back
till
to it in
item
case
four.
there's a resolution.
Okay.
we'll come back and we'll hit all those things.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, second for the minutes? Second?
Second.
Just a couple of things that, came up in the first sentence there, it talks about the meeting of Delaware County IDA, I think we want that to say LDC. And then Glenn will prepare a cash benefit analysis, which is nice, but I think we might cost benefit analysis.
Yeah.
If we can get those updated, that would be great. And that was all I had.
I'm not proofreading any of them. They all look good to me.
That's fine. Amended, as amended? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Let's go forward with the financials, but I think we did most of them, Glenn.
Yep.
We went through them all. A motion to approve the treasury report, road report, audit, not.
No, sorry, the annual audit, that's a typo, that should not be in there.
Deposits and invoices.
So moved.
Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You. Item 4, I would take a motion to go into executive session, with no action to be taken. A second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Please hold.
I have a couple things I'd like to go over.
Sorry,
Recording in progress.
feeling pushed, but
By me.
I wasn't gonna be specific. Motion by-
Push yet.
Looking for a motion to approve the Denver's rubbish removal loan request.
So moved.
A second,
Second.
With the additional collateral.
thank you. Okay, second, with that condition,
You had the second.
all right, all in favor?
Aye.
And I worded this, and we can reword it, motion to approve the existing language in the loan with the Hancock Herald.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve soft costs related to the, to $20,000 related to the Franklin Main Street septic improvements project.
I'll make that motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
I think I've got them all, Glenn.
Yeah, that's it.
Let's just make sure. Any other old new business that we need to attend to or discuss?
No, stay a while.
Anything? Okay. We'll adjourn that meeting. Delaware County Capital Resource Corporation, we have no business. Anybody with any discussion on that?
Maybe for DJ for breaking ground.
Yesterday, you were there.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
It went great. Lindsay, how did it go?
It went great. We heard my comments and then later I took my comments back when we were mentioned on the news, so well,
So there, it was a little disappointing. There was no reference at all to the IDA's involvement in providing the bonding, the low interest bonding opportunity, but on BMG 12, they had it on one of their excerpts on video. So that's fine.
Did the county get credit?
There was one reference to Delaware County. That was it. In the whole, in all 8 speakers, 7 speakers, I forget how many they had.
Yeah, but that's.
we're too narrow.
And I'm okay with that. So I told Lindsay, we're not the out front guys, we're behind the scenes guys. Money comes from someplace, we're the ones that have to be providing it. I can do a better job of making sure we get some credit, but, I think we're fine.
Yeah.
Channel 12 took care
That's right.
of it. Okay.
Nobody cares where the funding.
No,
I just want to make sure the money's not.
it's a great project. Boomer and crew did a great job with the presentations. They had some semi-gold shovels for shoveling the rocks they had with the soil, kind of soil. A motion to adjourn. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody. Sorry that it's dragged out.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Great.
Have a good weekend.
You too.
You too.